Have you ever read an article that just makes you go, Well, I've got one here that is kind of concerning, to be honest. And the fact that they don't even mention anything about the headline is what is kind of bothersome here. So I think they're going to possibly try pulling something based on the Rittenhouse case, and I think that they are going to try to use this to really push some gun control down our throats. However, I don't think it's going to be the typical type of gun control that we're really used to hearing about. So, hear me out. Let me bring you up the article here. And as the headline says, in gun debate, Rittenhouse verdict unlikely to be the last word. Well, there's a whole lot that headline has to say. There really is. Number one, I think the headline pretty well clearly states that their feelings are that he's probably going to be found not guilty. The second thing that is just glaring, obviously, because it's what the headline says itself, is that even if Rittenhouse is acquitted or, found not guilty by a jury of his peers, there could still be something else coming down the pike. So let's look and dig a little bit into this article here and see what it is that they might be talking about. Because I'm telling you, as far as anything directly related to what this is saying, it's not in here. So it goes into talking about that night and what happened that night, why he took the weapon and all that. It goes into what the defense says is the reason for what happened that night, and of course it goes briefly over what the prosecution has to say. Okay? So this is insane. So then it goes into the shooting of Jacob Blake and why there were people out there protesting to begin with, or more accurately, rioting and looting. And it says, it goes over. Some people think that he's a patriot that absolutely did the right thing. Other people think that he was an irresponsible kid in over his head, and others think that he was looking for trouble. I love how they separate all of those. They don't even make it an opportunity for it to be multiple choice here, because I think that's the answer. I do think that in his mind and in his actions, he was being patriotic and trying to take care, and this is my opinion, trying to protect the city, trying to protect property. I firmly believe that's what he felt. And in reality, well, let's face it, that's what he was doing. Whether or not other people don't like it or not doesn't really matter. However, I think at the same time, what he did was a little bit irresponsible for a 17-year-old to do. And yeah, he was probably in a little bit over his head. Albeit, he apparently could handle the situation well enough to stay alive. So, that argument is there and will always be there. But nonetheless, I do think that he was over his head. He just, handled it and let's be honest, got lucky, because that could have very easily ended in a different way. So, and we're going to kind of talk about that here in a second. But anyway, this is starting on this next part here is what I really want to focus on, okay? Because they say nothing. This headline, okay, in gun debate, okay, gun debate, okay, so that means we're probably going to be talking about gun law, right? And, and then this part here, regardless of the Rittenhouse verdict, it's unlikely to be the last word when it comes to what? The gun debate, okay? But this article mentions nothing about the gun debate. Nowhere in this article does it say anything anywhere about the gun debate. Right here, however, it says the Kenosha protest was one of many that year to draw armed militias or counter-protesters. Protesters, too, were armed. Kenosha police officer Pep Moretta and others testified. Now listen to this. We were surrounded all night, Moretta said, adding that there was probably more people armed with weapons than not. Okay, and then it goes from there talking about the George Floyd shooting, and it even brings Donald Trump into the mix, right? You like how this is being played out here? And then, talks about defund the police. It talks about FBI numbers on gun sales and background checks and all of this good stuff. And it's really interesting because it never says anything in particular about a gun debate or what anybody's talking about or even what anybody's thinking. But I think I picked up on the one sentence that they were referring to. And it's right here. We were surrounded all night, Moretta said, adding there was probably more people armed with weapons than not. How much you want to bet they're about to try to introduce gun legislation that says that you're not allowed to be armed at any type of protest or gathering or anything like that. And before too many people start jumping up and down cheering because they think that this is only going to apply to BLM or any of the others, just remember that the same laws are going to apply to you when you want to protest things that are being taught in schools, when you want to protest, mandatory vaccinations, anything, infringement on the Second Amendment, which is exactly what that is in and of itself. So don't jump up and down and think that this is only going to apply to one side, because that's absolutely not the case. This is going to apply to everybody across the board, no matter what it is that you're out there protesting. Mark my words that is what they are up to. Man, that is, for me, again, not sitting here trying to pick sides, thinking of who it would be appropriate for and who it wouldn't. This is pretty horrific. Keep an eye on this. I just picked this up. I'll put the link of the article down in the description as usual. You can read over it yourself. You can see what you come up with. But they never do talk about the gun debate. And that's kind of disconcerting, considering the only thing that, really stood out was that one statement. Anyway, there's the information. Take it how you will. Hope to see you later tonight for the live stream. And shalom.